It's just a little after 9 p.m. on the evening of November 7th, 1974, when a woman burst into the Plumber's Arms, which is a well-known pub in a place called Belgravia, a swanky area of London. All right?
All right.
Any idea what's happening with this woman coming bursting into this pub?
Reporting murder, or she's been stabbed or something.
You're just thinking that would be the thing to say.
No, because there's liquid. There's something on her hands.
Oh, far out.
She should have, I think, darker hair.
Okay.
Okay, I'm not sure if it's darker. It's the way I'm seeing it. But I would say, like, your hair is at least here. It doesn't look short. And it feels dark, like it feels coarser than blonde, but I could be wrong there.
Okay, very good. She was barefoot, disheveled, and bleeding from a deep gash on her head. She was pale, and her expression was absolutely wild with terror. Everybody turns to stare at her. The conversations, of course, drop completely. People stop drinking, and she's gasping, stumbling, grabs a patron's arm and says something astounding. Can you any idea what she might have blurted out?
So funny. My husband killed me.
Why do you say that?
Because you said, what did she say? And I heard, my husband killed me.
Oh, for crying out loud. You just, at the SDP free zone, you just stole the entire freaking tale practically, because that's exactly what she said. And I was holding that back. My next line is, I'm going to keep that tasty little tidbit back for a little while. Ha! You stole it from me. Jeez, Darcy, that's amazing. Okay, yes, that's what she said. So we'll have to then now investigate who this woman was.
And now, Radio Sydney presents Seeing Dead People, Episode 59, Blood in Belgravia, the murder of Sandra Rivett and the disappearance of Lord Lucan. Welcome to Seeing Dead People, the slow burn storytelling podcast where our host, Nicola, challenges her psychic friend Darcy to communicate with the dead and unravel historical ghost stories, unsolved true crime mysteries, and all things paranormal. If you want to be spooked, amazed, and entertained, stick around for an astonishing, deep dive convo with the spirits on the other side.
Hey, Darcy, how are you today?
I am fine. How are you doing?
I'm excellent, Darcy. I'm always interested and excited to have our discussions because I never know what you're going to say. I always learn a lot of stuff, and I find it always fascinating. Thanks for, again, being willing to chat tonight.
No problem.
Or I should say, before we dive in, okay, I want to just confirm, because I don't say it anymore on the podcast, but haven't seen any of the photos until you're just opening them now?
Just opening them now.
Okay, and you know nothing about what we're going to talk about?
Nope.
Okay, absolutely. So
not yet.
Not yet. Yeah, you have to start turning your mind to it. I'll just have a quick reminder to our audience. A few of the photos that we're going to be looking at, you and I tonight, I can't show to them because they're copywritten. I think it is a bit of a bummer, I know, but I don't think it's that important. We'll discuss them enough. And if the audience really wants to see them, they can Google them, no problem. So I'm going to ask you intuitively there, Darcy, have you any ideas of where we might be heading today?
I'm going to go with the usual murder, mayhem, disappearance. That's been our themed song.
Absolutely. You're right. Any idea of where we might be going?
Originally, when I sat down to do this, the first thing that came into my head was England, but I thought, am I right? Is it really England, or is there a connection?
Okay, damn it. Frig. As we've often done in the past, Darcy, we're traveling across the pond to the old country. Woo-hoo. Today, right to the seat of all English power, the capital of the United Kingdom. We're going to jolly old London, England. So yes, we're in England, you little devil. You knew that sitting down. Man.
It was the weirdest feeling. I don't know how to explain it, but when I sat down, I thought, England. But then we've been there, and maybe it's just a connection.
We always go back to them because there's so many stories over there, right?
They have huge stories.
Yeah, they do. This is a good one. You'll recall, Darcy, we've been to the Big Smoke before in what's become our most popular show. I've not told you this, I guess. Episode 11, when we investigated Jack the Ripper and the infamous Whitechapel area. That's the best so far. We got way more views on that one and interest. And I just wanted to say, in that episode, Darcy, you named the man who's now considered to be actually Jack the Ripper. So you picked him out of several photographs. It was astounding. And we also were at the Big Smoke a couple of years ago in our episode about Death in the Bloody Tower, where we talked about the Tower of London and what happened there. And in that episode, you totally blew me away because you said, if the ghost that you see on the parapet was actually carrying her head under her arm. And of course, you were describing the famous apparition of Queen Mary, who was carrying her head under her arm. There's a famous song, but I just laughed so hard because what a thing to be able to see, in my mind, a person with their head under their arm. It was ridiculously right on the target.
See, and the one I remember is the theater, that beautiful, it looked like an Earth theater. Yep. And I said to you, Rat Tat.
Yes.
And I was thinking Dillinger. Right. But
absolutely. Yeah, that was very cool. The guy did, and he got shot in the chair by the mob, I think. Yeah, that was great. One day we'll have to go through all the episodes and just check in again, because they've been some terrific ones. But I guess we should get back to today's current mystery. Okay. It's just a little after 9 p.m. on the evening of November 7th, 1974, when a woman burst into the Plumber's Arms, which is a well-known pub in a place called Belgravia, a swanky area of London. All right?
All right.
Any idea what's happening with this woman bursting into this pub?
Reporting murder, or she's been stabbed or something.
That, or you're thinking that would be the thing to say?
No, because there's liquid. There's something on her hands.
Oh, far out.
She should have, I think, darker hair.
Okay.
Okay. I'm not sure if it's darker. It's the way I'm seeing it. But I would say, like, your hair is at least here. It doesn't look short. And it feels dark, like it feels coarser than blonde, but I could be wrong there.
Okay, very good. She was barefoot, disheveled, and bleeding from a deep gash on her head. She was pale, and her expression was absolutely wild with terror. Everybody turns to stare at her. The conversations, of course, drop completely. People stop drinking, and she's gasping, stumbling, grabs a patron's arm and says something astounding. Any idea what she might have blurted out?
So funny. My husband killed me.
Why do you say that?
Because you said, what did she say? And I heard, my husband killed me.
Oh, for crying out loud. You just, at the SDP free zone, you just stole the entire freaking tale practically, because that's exactly what she said. And I was holding that back. My next line is, I'm going to keep that tasty little tidbit back for a little while. Ha! You stole it from me. Jeez, Darcy, that's amazing. Okay, yes, that's what she said. So we'll have to then now investigate who this woman was, okay? I'm going to show you 3 headshots. We've done this many times, and it's great fun, of women in that era. So we're in the 1970s, right? 74. Their age, roughly 20 to 30-ish, okay? Yep. One of these women is a complete red herring. Got nothing to do with the story, okay? One is the gal who's blurted out about my husband, okay? And the other one has something to do with this story, but we're not telling you what it is at the moment, okay?
Okay.
All righty. So let's look at those pics one by one and try not to tell us unless you know for sure in a second. Don't make any decisions till you've seen all 3. I'm going to tell the audience I can only show them 2 of these 3. So let's have a gander at photo number 1. I can show you this one, and you can see it yourself, Darcy. So there's photo number 1. Okay. It's a dark-haired, very thoughtful, I think, gal. Have a look at this gal and tell us what you see, hear, feel about her.
Okay. She almost fits my description, but she feels like she's serious. Mm-hmm. Okay. There's a lot of energy around her. I don't know if it's because we were talking about children before this, but I don't know if she's connected with children.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I'll tell you that later. Okay. Now let's look at photo number 2. I can show this one as well. This gal, there we go, is a little bit spunkier, I think. She's got a little bit shorter hair, but the way you were moving your hands, describing the hair of the person who came into the pub earlier, gave me the impression that was the hairstyle you were thinking about. But I don't know. What do you say about this gal?
It was the hairstyle, maybe a little longer, but when I look at her hair, it seems to be too light.
Okay.
Okay, so I'd go with the dark-haired lady.
Okay, well, let's look at photo number 3, which you and I can see, but no one else can, unfortunately.
Okay.
Photo number 3 is, again, a dark-haired gal, quite attractive. What do you think of number 3?
She looks more like a model.
Yep.
Very pretty, serene, huge eyes. Yeah, I don't think she's the one I'm looking for.
Okay, so then drum roll, Darcy. Which of these 3 is the gal in the pub? Who's the red herring, who doesn't belong at all, and who's our gal waiting in the wings?
Okay. I'd like to think 3 is our red herring.
Okay.
Okay. The first one we saw, possibly the lady in the pub. And the second one we saw, she's definitely connected somehow.
Okay, the woman in the pub is named Veronica Duncan, and she is in photo number 2. So she's got hair as you described.
So it is her.
Great hair. Okay. She is married to a peer of the realm, don't you know, who inherited the title of the Earl of Lucan. So Veronica herself was given the courtesy title, because she's not an aristocrat, but she was given a courtesy title of the Countess of Lucan. She's number 2, and she's the one who burst into the bar, traumatized, barefoot, panicked, bleeding, and saying those amazing words that you just said, which my husband tried to kill me. Her story is astonishing. Something terrible did happen in her nearby home, which is a 4-story brick row house in this exclusive area of London called Belgravia. And its location is adjacent to Buckingham Palace. So that gives you a sense of the level of wealth of the people and the nature of this location. It's a lot of money and a lot of aristocracy, okay? If you got Buck Palace as your neighbor. And you may recall our famous guy, Conan Doyle, wrote a great Sherlock Holmes story called A Scandal in Belgravia. And that was in exactly the same area with a lot of money, had to do with the king of a small country. So it shows to you that it's aristocracy everywhere. So we're in heady company here. Now I'm going to show you Veronica Duncan's home where this event happened in photos 4 and 5. 4 is an exterior, if you'd have a look at it, of this sandy colored brick row house.
Wait just a minute.
Okay. And I cannot show either of these photographs. Oh, yes, I can. I lied. Sorry. I can show this photograph. Here's photograph 4.
Okay, that's better. I don't have that one, strangely enough.
Okay, there we are.
Okay.
That's 4.
Very nice.
Isn't it nice? And it's part of a row of kind of brick houses with many floors. There's at least 4 floors and a basement.
And so the door where number 4 is, that's where the door to the entrance.
Exactly. And I'll show you the next photo, number 5, if I get it to come along here. There we will give you a tight close-up. There it is.
Okay. Yeah.
So there's a lovely entrance, arched windows, beautiful location, obviously. So that's where this event happened. Okay.
Okay.
So can you get any sense? I know these photos have nothing to do with 1974. So can you get any sense of what might have happened in that home?
There should be someone dead in that home, not just the lady who ran out saying her husband tried to kill her.
Why do you say that?
Because I felt someone was dead. And if she's not dead and she's running there, someone has to be dead inside the house.
Absolutely. Veronica claims that someone attacked her in her family home, and that's not all. She thought the perpetrator had killed someone else in her home. Okay.
Yeah.
So, of course, the police rush over, obviously, to the pub and then to the house, which is at 46 Lower Belgrave Street. She lives there with her 3 children. What do you think the police find in the basement?
In the basement. A dead person, given their status in life, that's probably a servant of some sort. I don't necessarily feel the kids are dead.
Okay.
Okay, like I can feel kids, but I'm not feeling death around the kids.
Okay. How many kids can you feel just for the heck of it?
You said 3.
Oh, then you cheater. Okay, you're right. All right. In the basement, they find a horrific scene. Blood stains on the wall, broken light bulb underfoot, trail of crimson blood, a canvas mailbag, one of those big, huge ones like you'd see Santa stuffing into, where Sandra Rivett was a gal named Sandra Rivett, a battered and lifeless body had been stuffed. She was our image number 1.
Okay.
Okay, our dark-haired, thoughtful gal. You said she had something to do with children. She was their nanny.
Isn't she married though?
She was okay. She was married. She's divorced or separated, and she's seeing someone else at the time. She's quite young, in her 20s. So how do you know she's married or was married?
It just felt, as strange as it sounds, isn't it? It's not the Veronica's husband that did this.
It is.
Really?
It
and
is.
It's been proven time and again, but okay.
We'll go through it and see what you think.
Okay, so what I'm feeling is it's more directed at Sandra. Okay, which to me, unless he was having an affair with her and she broke it off, it's at the wrong person. I would have said it should have been him bludgeoning his wife, but he's not there. Like he's not in the house when they go back.
How do you know that?
Because it's just this feeling that he's not there. So how?
Let's look at the crime scene.
Okay.
You're right on 100%. I'm just gobsmacked here. It's rocked in my chair. Have a look at the crime scene. This is photo number 6.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not a very good picture. As you can see, it's black and white. We're looking down to the bottom of a staircase. This is the basement. To the right looks like a terrible splashing of blood, large swaths of blood. And then in the front, in the head, right there, if you can see that, Darcy, that is, the lighting is bad. Hang on, let's see if I can get it. That is the canvas bag where our poor gal was stuffed in.
Oh, wow. She's in the canvas bag up against the wall.
Exactly. I don't know can you see it on your computer?
Yeah. Okay. And it's funny because when I look at it, and the reason I said she's in the canvas bag stuffed up against the wall, because it's almost like you can see the outline of a black, dark hair, dark shirt as she was wearing it. Plus the fact her shoes are over to the side.
Exactly. I don't see a dark-haired business hiding underneath a white canvas, but I can see the shoes, so that's amazing. So she is unfortunately there, yes. And we'll look at photo number 7. Oh, I'm not supposed to be showing these ones. Photo number 7, we'll have a look. If you look at photo number 7, you'll see a close-up of the canvas, or not a better shot of the canvas bag, the blood in front of us, and one of the shoes.
Okay, I'm sending you this image. Okay.
Cool.
As soon as it decides it's going to send it.
Okay.
And what I've done is circled, and if you look really carefully, you can see the dark hair. So there's a person in it, but it just won't. Okay, it's taking its sweet time. I'll get it to you yet.
Okay, all right. We'll keep on going then. We'll see it.
Okay. When you look at number 7, you don't see it there as I can on the first one.
Okay, because I would have said number 7 to me looks like you know what? I'm starting to get it now. Number 7, I would have said clearer photograph. But in fact, I can see now. I bet you I know where you're. What is a wrinkle in the bag and a bit of shadow.
if you look at the other one I just sent you, oh look, and there's a person standing outside the window. That's
You always say
pretty.
that. There's nobody standing outside the window.
Yeah, it's like a man looking on.
Keep an eye on what that man looks like, okay?
Dark hair, facial. Maybe a little squarer in the jaw than I am.
Okay, when you say facial, what do you mean? Square in the jaw?
Mustache.
Mustache. You're seeing a dark-haired man with a mustache and a square jaw in the
Yeah,
window?
I can feel it.
Okay, out of here. Okay, you've just totally blown the whole show, so we'll just keep on going. I'll check my email in
Did
a
he
second.
use an axe?
I don't think so. No.
Okay, it had to have been an axe or something sharp.
Okay, let's talk about this. You had mentioned you were puzzled because you said, if it's her husband, why didn't he kill Veronica? Why did he kill Sandra? You said that's a mistake. He should have killed Veronica. Veronica's his target, is what you're thinking?
Yes.
But he killed Sandra. You also said he's not in the house, even though he's peering through the window, maybe, but he's not in the house. Okay.
Yep.
So we have our photo number 1 is Sandra, the one who's dead. Our photo number 3, as you said, is our model red herring. We can chuck her out. Okay.
Yeah.
When you look at Sandra, do you get anything from that photo number 1 from her, or as to what might have gone wrong? What might have happened to her?
What it felt like is I don't feel she was the subject here. So I don't know how she got involved. I don't feel like she's that type of person to stand up to someone. Okay. I think she'd rather be in the background than in the forefront, where the blondie definitely, let's get in the forefront. Okay.
All right.
And it's just, okay, are we absolutely sure the husband did it?
Let's just say that's what everyone thinks the husband did it. In fact, Veronica Duncan herself said she was struck and attacked by her husband.
Yeah.
When she burst into the pub, that's what she said. Like you had said, my husband tried to kill me. All right. What seems to have happened, Darcy, is Sandra, our nanny, had been only a nanny for the Lucans for a few months, but she was already beloved by the children and Veronica. She was doing well. Veronica and her husband, whose name is John Bingham, Lord Lucan, they were separated. Okay, so Veronica, the 3 kids, and the nanny were living in the house. Sandra had been separated from her husband. You had said she would have been married. She was seeing another individual, another guy, and normally would see him on Thursdays, her night off. This is a Wednesday night. She happened to have normally went out with him Thursday. On that Thursday, she had happened to see her boyfriend the day before on the Wednesday. So she was home unexpectedly on the Thursday night. When she went down to the basement. These row houses have many floors, right? She went down to the basement kitchen to make a cup of tea for Veronica. And it was the last act of kindness in her life. It cost her life.
Yeah, because she was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Exactly. Later, police were able to determine that as Sandra descended into the basement kitchen, she was attacked. Someone was there lying in wait. A lead pipe swung through the air, terrible blows, struck her head till she collapsed. She was badly beaten. So your idea of an axe, it's not quite the same implement, but it certainly was a vicious, violent, sharpish kind of thing. If you get hit by a lead pipe, it's pretty bad. Moments later, maybe Veronica's wondering what happened to Sandra. The tea's not coming up. I don't know. But moments later, Veronica heads to the basement. So
because
to find Sandra with some tea. Instead, she's confronted by the same figure in the shadows. But she's also attacked. The pipe is also used to hit her. But she, as you said, spunky. She screamed. She fought back. She clawed, she kicked, she bit, she did everything to break free. And she broke free somehow. Blood streaming from her head, runs out of the house barefoot, panic, and she's in a place where this pub is like a half a block or 2 blocks away. Crashes into the pub begging for help. She blurted out, my husband tried to kill me. She also thought, and I don't know how she realized this, because he obviously had to kill Sandra. Then he had to stuff Sandra into a bag. Now, whether that bag was ready to stuff Veronica in, I don't know.
My guess would be yes.
So he got rid of the one body when the next one came down the stairs, and he wasn't able to get rid of her because she got away. But I don't know if Veronica came down the stairs and noticed the sack. Like, why did she? Because she said when she went into the pub, not only did he try to kill her, as you had said, somebody else died. She was convinced he'd killed somebody else. How, I don't know. Given the timing would have been tight, the body wouldn't have been obvious. Perhaps the blood was, but it was a dark kind of basement where the light was on, the light bulb was broken. I don't know how she knew that.
I would have said that maybe she saw the blood, but I think the fact that Sandra didn't come upstairs, I think that's why she automatically thought someone else had been killed.
Wow. What a shock, eh? My goodness.
Yeah.
So not only has she been attacked brutally, not only has poor Sandra, who's an innocent individual in this whole thing, been brutally murdered. Yeah. We know who the perpetrator is based on Veronica, okay? And where is the perpetrator? Where is Lord Lucan?
Definitely not at home.
Definitely not at home.
And I even mean his home.
He's not living here, right?
Yeah. I would tell you he's disappeared because I can't see him.
Okay. But you saw him in the window, you think, or you saw someone in the window.
Yeah, the image of him in the window.
Okay. So the hunt for Lord Lucan begins immediately because, yes, he has vanished. So let's get an idea of who this guy was. As I said, He was an English aristocrat. I'm going to give you the little 3-pick test, and see if you can pull out Lord Lucan in the next 3 photographs.
Okay.
Going to give you photographs 8, 9, and 10. I want you to review them carefully, and then let me know which one is Lord Lucan in this. As often is the case, one of them will jump up to you, and you'll notice one thing very similar with all of the men. You said it through the man in the window. So look at photo number 8, and that's one photo I cannot show our audience, but it's a man in a suit, gray, dark hair, big eyes, or whatever. You talk about him. What's particular about him? What do you think about him?
The mustache.
Yeah, the mustache. Exactly.
He's got nice eyes.
He's got nice eyes. Okay. Yeah. So you like him. You don't think he's it?
I'm open to looking at the rest of them.
Good. All right. Photo number 9.
Wow. Okay. Number 9, dark hair, that squarish kind of face I'm looking for. Definitely the eyes could be of a concern. The mustache.
The mustache. Yeah. Okay. All right. And last, number 10.
Yeah, no, he's not it. Dark hair.
Why did you miss him so quickly?
Yeah, he's just not it.
He's just not it. Okay.
No.
So, wow. All right, then. Which of these 3 men the image of these 3 men is of John Bingham, the Lord Lucan at the time?
I want to go with 9.
You're dead. And I can show it to the audience. There he is. That's Lord Lucan. So very much like you had said, the man in the window, dark hair, mustache, square jaw.
Yeah. It's because he's got a unibrow.
Kind of Neanderthal, eh? Okay.
He's just got, and it's funny because if you hadn't agreed that it was in England, when I look at him and I look at the blonde with the hair, I would have thought the go-go type. You know, James Bond's girls.
That's the era, right? The 70s groovy London idea. Yeah, you're right on. Okay, I'm going to show you, before we talk a bit more about John Bingham, the Earl of Lucan, I'm going to show you our last photograph. It's a candid black and white shot of their wedding.
Okay.
And I want to know if it gives you any insights, because I'm not able to show it to the audience, but you can have a look. I
Do I
find
have
there's
it?
some interesting thing. I was trying to be intuitive like you, and I find some interesting things in it. So what do you think?
Okay, I don't think I have it.
Oh, shit. You don't have 11?
Just a minute, I'm looking. It could be the back way of it. 10. Oh, there it is.
Okay.
Oh, she looks so young compared to him.
Doesn't she?
Yeah, she looks like she's 17, 18 years old there.
Yeah. I'm actually not sure what the age difference is, but there is a substantial
Okay.
age between them.
See, here she has darker hair.
You're right.
So there she is.
That. It looks more brown than blonde.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it is longer than it was in
Yep.
the other photograph. Oh, you Sharpie, you.
He looks happy. He really looks like an aristocrat.
Yeah, doesn't he just, eh?
Yeah. She's solemn, like serious.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking she doesn't look, he looks happy and everything's good. She just looks a little pensive. I'm not really sure I want to be in here. Relationship.
Yep. I would have said, looking at that picture, I would have told them they were doomed. Not maybe death, but doomed as in it wasn't going to work.
You'd know that from just looking at that photograph.
Yeah, their body language doesn't equate to two people who are going to spend their life together.
Yeah, they're stodgy and separate. He in particular is quite stiff looking.
Yeah.
She's looking forward a little bit, but she's certainly got this sort of unhappy, I don't know what it is, as I say, pensive, perhaps unhappy on her face. She just doesn't look like she's a bride who's just had the best day of her life.
No, most brides are smiling.
No, yeah, you'd hope so, eh?
Yeah.
Back to that fateful evening then. It was later learned that Lucan called his mother from a friend's house in Sussex, claiming he'd walked in on a violent attack happening in his home. And he blamed an unidentified murderer or intruder, but of course he booted it. He didn't stay around to protect his wife or try to catch the burglar or the murderer. He took off. He insisted that Veronica was mistaken, that he had tried to save her, not harm her, and that she burst away, desperate, trying to get away from him, ran away, but he was actually trying to save her. So evidence put that to a lie. His blood-stained car was found abandoned near the south coast of England. Inside was a piece of lead piping, identical to the murder weapon. So he's pretty well dead to rights, guilty.
Yep.
Now, was he arrested and tried?
No, I am not seeing him. I don't see him standing in front of a wigged judge.
When you say I'm not seeing him, are you seeing her? Are you seeing Sandra? I don't get that.
Don't know how to explain it, but I've seen their pictures, and then based on their pictures, I'm looking to, okay, is he in front of a judge? No. Is she alive? Yes. Are her children safe? Yes. Is she still scared for her life? Absolutely. Okay. And so then I'm going, okay, where is he? Let's start following his trail.
Okay.
And I would have said that he probably owed money to someone. Maybe he was trying to collect insurance, because I'd be curious to see if she had money on her. And he disappeared. So he could be anywhere. England. He could be in Europe by then. Okay, the 70s, it wasn't as fast to get out of town as it is now, but I still feel like Mom probably knew where he went, but I'm not about to give him up.
Okay, he was definitely a heavy gambler, in debt, not doing well with his family. He tried to have the kids taken away from Veronica, claiming that she was unstable. The court didn't buy that. She did have some depressive episodes, but she was improved. So she was doing okay with the children. So he was not in good shape financially, not in good shape socially or family-wise. He disappeared. There were no sightings of him at the time, no letters from him, no trail whatsoever. And as you said, 1974, not so easy to leave, not as easy to get away. There was certainly no social media. There's no digital footprint of someone using a cash machine, for example. They didn't even exist at the time. No cell phone data, because of course there was none around, and probably not even timely credit card information, because they were just starting to use credit cards in the 70s. So we didn't have much to trail him, to track him. Okay. Although he was a titled individual, fairly well known, and a lord, he literally vanished. Now you can imagine the frenzy of the publicity of that and of the media. This guy, a lord of the realm, murders a young woman who's his nanny, attacks his own wife, trying to kill her. Lots and lots of publicity, looked for all over the world. Some said he was in South America. Some said he was in Africa. He got supposedly helped by his wealthy and well-connected aristocratic friends. Others said, oh no, he committed suicide, threw himself into the English Channel. Over the years, lots of sightings in many places, but we know how that goes.
Yes.
None were confirmed. So the question is, did Lucan live out his days in exile, hidden by this old money aristocratic kind of cabal protecting him? Or did he die of himself after the crime shortly? Or did he kill himself? Or what? Have you any idea?
I'm inclined to go with the suicide.
Are you?
Yeah. Because he knew exactly what was going to happen to him. And I couldn't imagine this man ever going to prison, let alone dying in prison. I'm inclined to suicide, or I'll go with the suicide.
Do you think he committed suicide soon after recognizing
Within
the days around him?
Within days.
Within days. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But I have to admit, that kind of makes a lot of sense, I think, because when someone just disappears off the face of the map, 99% of the time, they aren't on the map anymore.
Wow.
You know,
that's true.
They're pretty well gone. I mean, although there's always this idea of hope or possibility that they're still alive and that they've opened up a new life somewhere. But he wasn't ready for that. He had, I don't think, planned. I don't know how he planned to get rid of the body anyway. I don't know what his plans were in the.
It was probably going to be dumped in the Thames.
Yeah, exactly, to get rid of her. Not much of a great plan, I have to admit. But because, of course, the husband is the first suspect in everything. But yeah, he seems to have just gone. And I think you could very well be right that he committed suicide. Unfortunately, Veronica lived in that shadow of his disappearance all of her life. So she didn't know if he was dead. She remained constantly afraid that he was going to kill her. And I don't blame her for that. She believed that his friends helped him to escape. Sandra, the poor gal, Sandra Rivett, the young woman whose life was brutally cut short, she just becomes a footnote in this case because the Lord Lucan disappearance overtakes everything, overshadows the fact that a young woman lost her life in a brutal manner by this man. Instead, it becomes the disappearance of Lord Lucan. Lord Lucan vanished. Where is Lord Lucan? What about Sandra Rivett, who died? And what about Veronica, who almost died? So it's a funny case in that in the annals of history that it's more talked about as the Lord Lucan disappearance than it is talked about the murder of Sandra Rivett. In 1999, finally, the courts declared Lucan officially dead, but he didn't get a death certificate. And I don't really know why. There wasn't a death certificate issued until 2016 when his one son, who is the 8th Earl of Lucan, wanted to claim the title and therefore had to have a death certificate for the 7th Lord Lucan, so he could step into the title. So he's gone. I think you're probably right. He committed suicide. But it's a very sad story to think that this man was crazy enough, arrogant enough to think that he could kill his wife so he could have his children, somehow get away with it, maybe because he was an aristocrat. But by doing so, he killed a young woman who really had nothing to do with it and a whole life ahead of her. And I think, as you said, based on her photograph and what you intuitively get from her, she was a nice, sort of shy, retiring kind of gal, but loved the children and the children loved her. It's just a shame, a terrible thing.
It is a shame. And it's that old thing, in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if Sandra had come downstairs first,
Veronica.
No, Veronica. If Veronica had come down first, she'd be the one dead.
Absolutely. And maybe Sandra would have stayed upstairs and he would have taken off. Who the heck knows? She could have had a life. Not that I wanted Veronica to die either, but it just seems, life is so unfair.
You know what? Once he killed one, he would have had to kill the other because there's evidence, there's someone else in the house that's going to know it. But this really felt not just a crime of passion, but an organized crime of passion.
That's an interesting term. Yeah, I like that. He planned it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he wanted his wife dead, but he didn't succeed. Okay, well, that was a super story, a super event. And I think for you to first sit down in your chair and think England, okay, maybe that's a chance. But to say the woman said, what? I think my husband tried to kill me. Come on, that was my big holdback. And you just took it right out of the air in the first few minutes. Cripes.
Do you remember the last time this one happened for England with the Mary Scott one where she's holding her head? And remember, my daughter and I were sitting talking, and I said to you, when I came on, I said, "Funny, my daughter and I were just talking about England and Mary Queen of Scots." And I thought you were going to blow your cork then.
I could have absolutely blown my cork then, because I never anticipated you would have any idea of who we were going to talk about. She, of course, is one of the most famous ghosts of the Tower of London, is the Queen Mary with her head tucked underneath her arm. Yeah. Yes, you always blow me away, Darcy. I'm thrilled to spend time with you and to explore these great mysteries with you. Thanks.
Oh, you're welcome. It's fun.
Thank you for listening to Seeing Dead People, where goosebumps are guaranteed. We would love to hear from you with questions for Darcy about her psychic process or suggestions for other mystifying situations you would like us to investigate. Please shoot us an email to info@radiosidney.ca with Seeing Dead People in the subject line. New episodes air on our website, radiosidney.ca, on the first Saturday of every month. Episodes repeat Saturday nights at 8 p.m. and Sunday mornings at 10 a.m., both Pacific time. All episodes are available as downloadable podcasts at our website or on our YouTube channel, Nicola Furlong Mysteries. I'm Dorian Mortis, weirdly keen on seeing dead people. This has been a presentation of Radio Sydney.